of the filing of the petition going on at the Supreme Court of Kenya. On the other side, the supporters of Azimio la Umoja candidate Raila Odinga outside, while security is beefed up by security as expected. So that is what is going on. Few minutes past noon, Raila Odinga, led by the lawyers, arrived at the Supreme Court of Kenya to file the petition challenging the declaration of Dr. William Ruto as a president-elect. IBC Chair Wafula Chebukati did announce Dr. William Ruto as the president-elect on Monday last week, and therefore on Tuesday, Raila Odinga speaking said that they have and they believe they have a watertight evidence that the election was not free and fair. So they are currently presenting their files, their physical files at the Supreme Court, after which it will be served to the respondents, who here are the IBC Chair Wafula Chebukati and Dr. William Ruto. And so they have met the deadline as required by the law to ensure that they present, they file the case before the Supreme Court within 7 days after the declaration of results. And therefore, after that, within 24 hours, probably by latest tomorrow, we also expect that the response or serving of this particular serving to the respondents, they are also expected to be served within the next 24 hours. So we'll also be getting to that is by tomorrow, and then after that we also expect response to the petition that will be served to the respondents within 24 hours. And so they are also expected to respond in 4 days after being served. So again, from that, of course, we'll also be having other rejoinder filed and served within another 24 hours before the case officially begins. Our reporter David Muthoka is at the Supreme Court. I don't know whether, David, you can hear me, but probably you can bring us to speed on what is currently going on. What we can see are just lawyers, some conversations ongoing right there. But just tell us what is happening right now, and if there are any of the lawyers speaking, exchange of probably words, and have they officially filed their petition? Are they now cleared, or there's still more time required before they could meet all the requirements? Muthoka, maybe you can tell us, you bring us to speed on what is currently happening.
Right here at the sub-registry for the Supreme Court, and that is definitely the Forodha House sub-registry. And as we have seen just a few minutes ago, the entire Azimio legal brigade has accompanied the Azimio leader Raila Odinga on his way right here to the Supreme Court sub-registry to file their petition against the victory of President-elect William Ruto. And as you can see right here from the images that you're able to see live from the Milimani law courts, that is the battery of lawyers who have arrived here at the Supreme Court sub-registry, definitely to accompany the Azimio presidential flag bearer Raila Odinga in filing and lodging the petition where he is challenging the victory of President-elect William Ruto. Even as you can see, that is lawyer Professor Sihanya, part of the battery of lawyers who will be expected to definitely help prove the case for the Azimio side, in which, as you mentioned, they have said that the case was not, or rather the election was not free, fair and transparent. As you can see, those are the boxes that are carrying the evidence and the documents that definitely the Azimio side is seeking to use to convince the 7-judge bench of the Supreme Court that is chaired by Chief Justice Martha Koome to annul the presidential election that saw William Ruto emerge victorious in his first stab at the presidency. And definitely this particular petition petition that is being filed here is the third so far today. We saw 2 previous petitions being brought. As you can see right there, that is Westlands MP-elect Tim Wanyonyi, of course, bringing in the other boxes that have the evidence and the documents that the Azimio side is keen to use to convince the 7-judge bench to throw away the victory of President-elect William Ruto. Of course, we see more and more boxes continue to stream in. Definitely, each Azimio leader has a hand literally in this, bringing in the evidence, bringing in the documents that they will be using on the floor, or rather on the courtroom, to definitely make their case, which they have said is indeed watertight. And definitely, as you can see, yes, right here, this is the advocates' waiting lobby, and it is also serving as the advocates' working area. And what is actually happening right now, once this evidence and these documents have been brought in, such as that one, Azimio volume number 26, that has been brought in by Nairobi woman representative-elect Esther Passaris. What is supposed to happen here, the Azimio side, the Azimio Legal Brigade, is expected to definitely reassemble and to ensure that the particular evidence that they have brought here is in order, and then it is received by the judiciary officers who have been here burning the midday oil, or of course attending to other petitioners who are challenging the victory of President-elect William Ruto right here. And so once that happens, definitely the other place where this particular evidence is supposed to go is the next phase, where the verification of its authenticity, its originality, and definitely every quantity, every volume is authenticated and verified. That is where the particular evidence will be headed to, and from there to the final stage, that is where the registrar of the Supreme Court is seated. Just to try and get her name, definitely looking at it, Letitia Washira is the registrar who will be handling the entire lodging of the petition, because in the penultimate phase, where the verification is taking place, that is where the filing of the petition will be taking place. But the final stage is the lodging of the petition, where definitely once the Azimio side has ticked all the boxes here at this particular phase, will be headed to, and definitely becoming the third petition to have been successfully lodged, of course, within the first day of the 14 days of the hearing and determination of this particular case. And definitely looking at it, the first 2 petitions that were filed earlier today and lodged, looking at them, definitely we have seen quite a number of them. The first one was by a petitioner by the name, looking at it, the John Njoroge Kamau, who was represented by his lawyer right here. And the second petitioner in this case was activist Halif Halifa with his lawyer, and definitely he was accompanied, or he has also enjoined Ruth Mumbi, Grace Kamau, as well as George Osewe in that particular case, where they have listed a number of respondents, including the IEBC commissioners, the IEBC itself, as well as the Kenya Kwanza side, as the respondents in this particular case. And Purity, you did highlight the entire roadmap to the judgment of this, or rather to the decision, to the declaring, or rather to the decision of this particular case. And once this particular lodging of the petition is successful, within the next 24 hours, the particular Azimio side that is challenging this petition, as well as other petitioners, will have the next 24 hours to do just one thing, and that is to serve and to furnish the respondents with the evidence and the papers that they have. And then afterwards, after those 24 hours where they have served the respondent, within the next 4 days, they are expected, rather the respondents are expected to file, or rather to respond, and rather to file their response to that. And in 24 hours after the response of the petition has been filed, a rejoinder should be filed and served. Then for the next 24 hours, interlocutory applications are expected to be filed, and in the other next 24 hours, a response to the interlocutory application is supposed to be made. And then for other 24 hours, the third-party applications have to be filed and served. And then within 8 days, that is when the Supreme Court bench is supposed to hold the pre-trial conference, and later on the case is supposed to be taking shape, where it will be headed to a hearing and ultimately to the reading of the judgment from each of the 7 judges who will be hearing and determining this petition. As you can see, more and more boxes, Purity, continue to arrive here, and definitely in a symbolic act, the very leaders in the Azimio coalition are bringing these boxes one by one, and definitely that is Azimio volume 11 that has been brought right here, received by the Siaya governor-elect, that is James Orengo, definitely showing how this afternoon is shaping up to be a flurry of activities right here at the Supreme Court sub-registry. Definitely that is dubbed for the house, that is just a stone throw distance away from the Milimani law courts. And definitely, as you can see, the Azimio leaders, we saw a number of them who accompanied and were side by side when Odinga was making his way here. We definitely saw his running mate in the just concluded presidential election, Martha Karua, accompany Raila Odinga. By his other side was the Wiper Party leader, Kalonzo Musyoka. We have also been able to spot former Gatanga MP Peter Kenneth. We have also been able to spot the former Meru governor, and that is the cabinet secretary for agriculture, Peter Munya. Come here. As you can see, that is Nairobi Senator-elect Edwin Sifuna, of course, among the entire delegation of leaders who are helping in the bringing in of the volumes of evidence and the volumes of documents that the Azimio side is seeking to use to convince the court, rather in their watertight case, that this particular election, the presidential election in this case, was marred by irregularities and thus was not free, fair and transparent. Purity. Of course, we are waiting, we are seeing, and we are definitely keeping our eyes and our camera lenses trained on this particular activity, Purity, and definitely we will be updating you when more and more information is available to us.
David Muthoka right there at the Supreme Court of Kenya, and currently Raila Odinga, the Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate, accompanied by his running mate Martha Karua and a team of lawyers led by the Siaya governor-elect James Orengo, right there presenting volumes and boxes of evidence ahead of the hearing. And in the next 14 days, we expect a number of activities, and this is the very first step towards petitioning a presidential election. It's supposed to happen 7 days from or after the declaration of the presidential results, and IBC Chair Wafula Chebukati did declare William Ruto as the president-elect on Monday last week, and therefore today was the 7th day that the Azimio team, the window closes or closed, was supposed to close today, but that has not happened because the Azimio team has finally and officially filed a petition seeking, of course, the Supreme Court to nullify the declaration of Dr. William Ruto as president-elect. And so we are going to see a number of stages or steps before the determination of this particular petition that seeks to nullify the the August 9 presidential election. And therefore, from today, in the next 24 hours, we expect that the petitioner right here, Raila Odinga team, will be serving the respondents in the next 24 hours, and after that the case could continue. But what we are seeing are just Raila Odinga, Martha Karua, and some of the political leaders that were elected on the Azimio party ticket seated right there as their lawyers bring in boxes and volumes of files with evidence why they believe that this year's election, presidential election, was not free and fair. And so they made their way to the Supreme Court some minutes past noon. The team that was led by Raila Odinga, and they are currently sitting as they await all the volumes to be presented into that particular space which they have been given. But the exercise, from what we are seeing, it's being led by lawyer James, senior counsel James Orengo. So they are being arranged there before the staff right there at the Supreme Court Court takes over. Seated next to Raila Odinga is former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka. We can also see Peter Kenneth, also Kitui Governor. The outgoing governor is right there, Charity Ngilu, Jeremiah Kioni, also at the back of where the Raila Odinga and the team are seated, and among leaders that were in the Azimio la Umoja camp. And so on Tuesday last week, when Raila Odinga finally broke his silence after the presidential results were officially announced by IBC Chair Wafula Chebukati, that's on Monday, he said that they have, or that he termed the elections as null and void, and said that they were going to seek justice and use the courts, the available courts, to ensure that the justice prevails. And so they believe that this election was not free and fair. And so it will be interesting to see and learn what are some of the evidence that they have against this presidential election. Lawyers, their consultations are going on, maybe whether they have been able to present all the volumes as expected or as filed, security and order being maintained there by the staff right there at the Supreme Court of Kenya. The live pictures from the Supreme Court of Kenya here in Nairobi, where Raila Odinga, on this very 7th day, where he is supposed to, he had 7 days to petition if he felt dissatisfied with the results that were released on Monday by IBC Chair Wafula Chebukati, and therefore he has been able to meet this deadline. And the 7th day, he files a petition against that particular win. Let's just hear some of the happenings at the Supreme Court currently. And those are live pictures from the Supreme Court of Kenya, where Raila Odinga's team, Azimio la Umoja, has officially petitioned the declaration of Dr. William Ruto as president-elect. And on the screen, we have David Murathe and a team of lawyers, security officers right there. But the situation is calm as Raila Odinga and the team lead the team right there, seated next to his running mate Martha Karua, and on the other side a former vice president who has been the running mate of Raila Odinga, who was in 2013 and 17 Raila Odinga's running mate Kalonzo Musyoka there. We can also see the Raila Odinga campaign think tank Makao Mutua there, and at the back we also have Charity Ngilu. Amos Wako is also represented, and the governor-elect of Homa Bay, Gladys Wanga, Peter Munya right there, and having a conversation with Peter Kenneth, and they are all smiles and probably confident and comfortable with the kind of evidence that they have been able to present before the Supreme Court, and maybe they are awaiting an update from their lawyers. There are conversations right there where David Murathe currently is. I'm not sure what is happening, but my colleague David Muthoka is in the building at the Supreme Court of Kenya. Muthoka, if you can hear me, what are some of the conversations taking place? We can clearly see that the team has officially petitioned the 2022 presidential elections.
Indeed, Purity, that is a conversation that not only involves the two Peters, Peter Kenneth